Andrew McClelland, thank you very much for having a chat. Even though you've basically got nothing to chat about, you don't have a show, which is the same as everybody else. Can you just first tell me the show that no one's going to be seeing?
Oh, happily. It was called I'm the Very Model of a Modern Major Musical, and it was a contemporary Gilbert and Sullivan set in a Melbourne City law firm that's entering an intergender, interfirm AFL competition. And it was a full Gilbert and Sullivan. Well, I wrote a full Gilbert and Sullivan that goes for 2.5 hours and has a cast of about 70 and 7 main roles and 2 full choruses. But my show, because comedy festival shows are only an hour, and rightly so, my show was me pretending the audience is a funding body and pitching this musical to them to get it produced.
Have you actually performed it anywhere?
No, never, because I was ready to kick off. I was ready to go. I had the pianist, I had the score, I had everything ready to go, and of course Comedy Festival got cancelled. But one of these days, eh? One of these days.
Can you tell me where you were when the news came through that the festival was off?
Yeah, I can. I was at an initial drinks meeting with my new publicist, who was very excited about getting the show out there, and she was saying, yes, I know who to contact. I know, it's Gilbert and Sullivan, so we're like baby boomers. We get on AM radio. Come on, let's go appeal to them. But, then we heard it was cancelled and just became drinks as opposed to work drinks.
So can you tell me what the impact is on you as a performer? Tell me about the expenses that are involved, if you've lost money, what the impact this is on you and your show.
Absolutely. Because my other work is in performance as well, I work as a DJ, and that's my sort of throughout the year employment. Everything has been cancelled. I am, for the first time since I started at Kmart when I was 15 years old, unemployed. So I was in the long lines yesterday at Centrelink, which we, saw on the news. And because at the time they said you had to go in to apply. They've changed that advice now. And I very much hope that I haven't gotten sick from the Centrelink staffer who told me I had to go in. So I got nothing. I'm completely unemployed. But of course I'm hustling, as everybody's hustling. 3 days ago I hadn't heard of Zoom, the online program to host meetings, and this Friday I'm hoping to host a nightclub on Zoom. So we'll see.
I did quickly want to ask you about your DJ business, because I imagine that would have gone along with everything else.
Absolutely.
How has that been affected?
Yeah, so I've been running a nightclub for 12 years called Mr. McClelland's Finishing School. And then apart from that, I do weddings and private gigs. I was Cher's support act last year, and I toured around Australia and New Zealand with Cher. So that really helped, that got me a lot of gigs around the place. Everything's cancelled. I mean, I had a lot of gigs lined up, but of course they're all cancelled. So I'm hoping to host a nightclub and a comedy room online. Janet McLeod is hosting a comedy room online, and last night we had a trial one, all comedians, no audience, but it seemed to work pretty well. So already we're transitioning pretty quickly, but everybody wants to do it live. They don't want to be online. It's not the same vibe. It's not the same feeling.
And what is, I guess, the fate of the show? Is it a case that this is a temporary halt for you, or is it actually going to cause damage?
Well, it's going to cause damage money-wise to me, my producer, and my venue. My manager put a huge amount of money in it, my producer. And also I, worked on it for a long time and put money in. So, yeah, we've all lost all of that money, but we'll do it again. We will do the show. I really like the show. Luckily, my pianist said I can defer paying her, so my piano player's all right. And she's out of work as well, of course, but... we're all just going to do it as soon as we can. Whatever, Comedy Festival next year, but hopefully a lot sooner. Maybe Fringe Festival later this year.
How important is a comedy festival for you as a comedian?
To me, it's the centre, the anchor of my year. I've been doing it since 1999. That was my first one. Jesus, since the 20th century. And for me, it's that big hunk of money that comes out of doing those shows gets me through the winter months when there's not as much DJing. Everything slows down in winter in my work, and Comedy Festival is just before that. So, throughout winter, I guess I'm going to be on Centrelink and hustling wherever I can. Maybe I'll go back to Kmart. I was there for 8 years. So who knows? Maybe they'll take me back.
So you'll literally be on unemployment benefits unless something changes.
Yeah, if I can get them, unless something changes. Who knows? Like maybe we are going to try online stuff. Maybe that'll make some money, and I won't need to. But otherwise, yes, literally.
How easy is it to make money online doing the idea of doing online performances? There has been a lot of talk about comedians doing stuff online, but again, on the one hand, the lack of a live audience, and secondly, doing things without that instant response that you thrive on, presumably as a performer. How is that going to work? Is it going to work?
Yeah, I don't know is the short answer. It's ask me in a week and I might know more. We'll find out. I think basically everyone who's thinking of doing this, and that's most of us probably, we're all going to start up this week or next week and see how it goes. I think it'll be a lot harder to make money online. I think we'll be absolutely fighting for audience members. But that said, most people are home, so there's a lot more audience out there. So who knows, mate? Maybe it'll work out.
Now, have you got your registration money back from the festival yet?
No, of course not. No. And I don't know if I ever will.
Well, haven't they committed to returning all that money?
Oh, I hope so. I hadn't heard that, if that's the case. Last I had heard they weren't returning it. But that was a few days ago.
Yeah, apparently that's been reversed.
Hey, that's delightful news. Well, there we go. A few more hundred in my pocket.
I was going to ask how much its registration costs.
Well, my producer pays it, so I don't know exactly. In the past, it's been about 500 or so.
But have you heard, do you know of other comedians in a similar position to you?
I would say most middle and all lower tier comedians are in the same position as me.
Is that where you position yourself, middle to lower tier?
It's very hard to know where to position yourself. One doesn't wish to be conceited. I do a little bit of radio work for Sammy J on ABC Melbourne. I'd say I'm middle to lower.
You appear to have a very big smile on your face at the moment, so your attitude seems to be quite positive, even though you're going to be on the dole pretty soon.
Well, mate, it's allowed me to do a lot of things that I didn't have time for before, to look into a lot of things. Just basic stuff, like my website needs a bit more video content on it. Let's do that. Also, I'll probably write a whole new show. I mean, I hope I will. Why waste the time? And also, the online computer games I love to play, I am doing a lot better in now. So there's always a silver lining. Look, the show's going to happen at some point. We can't be isolated forever, you know. This too shall pass, as they say, so I'm going to get out there and do the show as soon as I can. Yeah, I can't wait to do the show. And I'm going to write a new show as well, I reckon. Just that is the other thing. So much time on our hands, and I guess you kind of know my shows. Like, I do some pretty obscure topics. It's what I love. And it's why I can sort of call myself a middle-tier comedian, because I've got that 1,000 fans you need, you know, who will come and see my stuff. Bless them, everyone. Otherwise, I don't get much media coverage. So I'm looking forward to writing these shows that I had in the back pocket. You have given me the performer's greatest joy of all, to be able to talk about myself. So thank you. Centrelink was a lion's den yesterday. It was chaos. It was fascinating. So many stressed people. Self-isolation at the moment, I'm still kind of getting into it. And I'm a pretty smiley person generally. But if this lasts for months, it's going to be a lot of people with a lot of anxiety. Luckily, I was ahead of the curve there. I got a bidet about 4 months ago. And so I'm a toilet paper-free household. I'll never need to use it again. I'm wipe-free.